What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon, and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon, crypto, and thanks button in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. Now, we are joined by Chocolate Saying, Refracted Curvature, 10th Man Rising, Neil, and a whole bunch of people in Discord, so welcome one and all.
Good morning.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. So I'm going to start off with the subject that we left off in the pre-show with, which is to say that recently I ran a GoFundMe campaign after twice previously saying I will change the platform I do my GoFundMe campaigns on. It's just a way of calling it. It's like a Hoover now, GoFundMe, whatever, like Kickstarter, a platform to raise money for whatever. And people have said, no, I don't want to use that platform. Use something else. And I've gone, yeah, I will. And then I've not. Now, that has been directly reflected in the campaign that I've just done, which has been terribly unsuccessful. Nevertheless, hopefully the problem will be resolved when I contact my amp guy, which I did today by text message, and he says it's only going to be the X amount to have your repaired amp back, and then I'll just go through the same cycle and probably end up doing another GoFundMe campaign in 6 months. Anyway, aside from my unsuccessful GoFundMe campaign, what we want to do is actually raise some money for Chocolate Saying, a panel member who has found himself in some financial difficulty. And as a very, very valued member of our team, we do want to help him get through that financial difficulty with a GoFundMe campaign. Just won't be with GoFundMe. Now, at this point, if it was with GoFundMe, I'd have just set one up yesterday. But we don't want to use it for obvious reasons just disclosed. What we do want to do is ask the audience, how would you feel the most comfortable, or which platform would you feel the most comfortable in using if we were to set up in the next 24 hours, which we will, a campaign to help Chocolate get out of some financial difficulty that he's inadvertently found himself in. Now, I looked at Go Donate, which is a UK-based donation site that looks exactly the same as GoFundMe to me. I just don't want to go straight into it and then have 25 people say, no, we don't want to support your campaign to help Chocolate out because you've used the wrong platform. So I'm hoping in the comment section and indeed in the live stream chat, if you can tell me what platform we should be setting this campaign up on, that is the platform that we'll use. So if everybody just says GoFundMe now, which will be shocking and definitely probably won't be the case, then that's what we'll use. Or if anybody says Go Donate, if you don't know, by the way, just say Go Donate, because that's the one I've just had a look at. And it seems okay to me. I just don't know anything about these platforms. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been using GoFundMe. Anyway, political reasoning aside from which platform you might want to use to raise funds, that is basically it. I just need to know which one. So if you've got a specific one, let me know. If there's no particular preference, let me know that Go Donate is quite happy and you'd send money via Go Donate, if that's what we use. Anyway, any evidence of a physical geometric sphere edge horizon formerly known as the curve of the Earth?
No, but if you live on the globe, you're going to need a geometric horizon that's physical. And since it's optical and changes with the weather, obviously we don't live on the globe. It's an optical perspective issue, depending on the weather that day.
Any evidence you can acquire an elevation angle measurement from a curved baseline?
The death of the globe right here and the birth of flat Earth, because you need to subtract from 90 degrees the altitude, which is the elevation of the star above the horizon. So if you can show me how you can have a 90-degree perpendicular on a curved surface, from a curved surface, then we can start talking about the globe. But even they, in their books, say it's not coming from the surface, it's coming from the equatorial plane, the center of Earth. As the caller in the pre-show said, who's been down to the center of the earth with a sextant lately?
I put this question to Mr. Neil deGrasse Tyson many months ago, and he still has not given us an answer. So the smartest astrophysicist in the world, the most popular, he doesn't have an answer for this? Should be simple. If you want to
We have
go.
the answer. No, we have the answer. They get their 90 degree from a plane tangent, which they draw on the dingleberry
No, I don't accept
arbitrarily.
that. I don't
No, I
accept
know.
that.
I know, but they coincided with the one they actually use, which is the equatorial plane. Then no one's there.
My Stream Deck's updated and the buttons have changed. I've just realised I've got muscle memory from pressing certain buttons. So I pressed a sequence of buttons to bring up the chat, and the intro started. And I looked down, I'm like, oh, well, I have pressed the intro button. And then I realised that I've updated the Stream Deck and it's rearranged the buttons subtly, enough for my muscle memory to put an intro or 2-3 seconds of the intro over the top of you then, Neil. So my apologies when you listen back and go, bastard, you should put the intro over the top of me. Sorry, that was
that's
accidental.
fine. I'll just repeat it. I'll just repeat it all over again.
No,
I put
it's
the
okay.
question to Neil deGrasse Tyson, and he hasn't answered us.
It was literally only 2 seconds. Don't worry about it. Today, we're going to be covering a couple of videos. We might get through one. We might get through two. Might be a double feature. You never know your luck. But as always, like with any response, were there to be a circumstance where somebody actually responded to our objections to their postulations in their video, I would hope that they would share their video link, my video link in their video, which is what I'm doing now. So I'm sharing this videographer's link so that you can go and let them know Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me, because we've done a response video. Be nice, otherwise you'll just get your comment removed. But just in the nicest possible way, let this videographer know that we've done a response video to their claims about Flat Earth by saying, Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me, most importantly. And then hopefully, one day, when if we ever get a response from any of these people to our top-of-the-line, cutting-edge responses to their claims, I would hope that they would put a link to my video. That's the main reason for me doing it. I'm just going to come right out with it and say it's purely for selfish motivation. But it will benefit them. Obviously, if you go and comment, it'll help them in the algorithm in the same way I would hope it helped me were they to respond and put my link in their video. Anyway, with that little waffle out of the way, this video is called An Astronomer Responds to Flat Earth Theory. Straight away off to a bad start. Theory comes after experiment. Anyway, this YouTuber is Insider Tech. So please, as I say, let them know. Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. Hey, Arwin. Hey Nathan, it's really good to be here. Oh, good to have you.
Hey Nathan, question.
Yes.
Did you not do a response to a response already? Did somebody respond to one of your videos yet?
The only person that's responded so far is somebody that I wouldn't classify as worthy of, going hooray or even checking. The person who told me was John, and he said, Dave McKeegan responded. I'm like, so what? It's like Simon Dan or Wolfie responding. Who cares?
Oh, okay. I was just wondering because I ran into that video showed up on my recommended list earlier this morning. I didn't listen to it, but I was just like, oh, we got a response, but I didn't even know because it's like a month old. So, okay,
yeah.
Never mind.
Again, like I say, John ran past the vague details of what was in the video. I gave him my cursory response, but in that regard, no, it's not worth our time. I said it to QE the other day. It's like I don't even count anti-flat earthers. It's like, what if I prove you wrong in your claim that's wrong and they're against the globe? If anybody's got the slightest bit of discernment and they go to someone like Dave McKeegan or Simon Dan or Blue Marble Science, they're not punting globe rhetoric. They're punting something completely different. So it's like, who cares? We want your big YouTubers that can punt normal globe rhetoric that aren't jaded into just trying to debunk anything a flat earther says, which is what those sorts of people are. They're against flat earth. They're not trying to promote globe rhetoric or look into the notions of flat earth at a surface level, which a lot of the bigger YouTubers that we do cover are doing. Now, don't get me wrong, we're just as interested in covering the high priests, regardless of their size. So there's been a few examples where we've covered people that aren't particularly big YouTubers, but in terms of their esteem or the esteem that they're held in, then they're worth responding to too. But anti-flat earthers, they're bottom of the pile. They're like as interesting to respond to as flat earthers. And we're just as likely to respond to flat earthers as we are anti-flat earthers. Anyway, I'm going to do a couple of quick shout-outs. Shout out to D Rose, thank you very much indeed. Flataholics Anonymous. Meet us in Discord with your citation for 18-mile measurement of space. Vastness. Thank you. Thank you for the super chat, D Rose. Really appreciate you heckling the live stream chat from the super chat. Really appreciate it. Godzilla. No. I mean, thank you for the super chat, Godzilla. Really appreciate the support. He's sent a super chat saying Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. No, in their comment section. But financially, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Unless you're reiterating that that's what you need to put as a comment when you go and let this person know precisely that Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. And hopefully they'll do the same in return. If anybody responds that's not a jaded anti-flat earther that just wants to go against globe and flat earth rhetoric just to prove the flat earther wrong. Anyway, his link's going by. Or she. I don't actually know if this is a female or male videographer. I've seen it.
I'm Dr. Stuart Clark. I'm an astronomer and I'm the author of The Unknown Universe. It's so clearly obvious that the world...
Straight off the bat, perfect. This is the kind of thing we want to be responding to. 10th, brilliant job.
...isn't flat. We see when ships leave the harbour, you can see as they gradually disappear below the horizon.
So, first claim of a globe Earth when stating that Earth isn't flat is that boats go below a physical geometric hill at 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. So if he's got a boat falling over an edge, that's his proof of a globe, or why Earth isn't flat, as his phraseology goes. So as boats gradually fall over the edge of an Earth curve, that's your proof. Well, that effect can be described with perspective. Things get smaller into the distance. Eventually they'll disappear completely. Isn't that amazing?
You can see if you go up onto a tall tower or a hill and you see more over the horizon.
Yeah, we debunked the horizon as being a physical geometric limitation to your view. So go and look at the Black Swan, where you say your view should be obscured and then is increased as you widen the angle to the deck going up a tree. Yeah, those can all be explained with perspective also. But I'm not going to. I don't need to. I'm not making a claim about it, so why would I? You're claiming that boats fall over a sphere edge. We debunked that. If the Earth was a sphere with a radius of 3959 miles, then every distance to that geometric limitation at 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet would be measured at 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. And we've got imagery that shows it beyond the geometric limitation you say boats fall over, in the form of the Black Swan imagery. Therefore, Earth is not a sphere radius 3959 with a geometric horizon for boats to fall over. We've debunked that.
All our physics is constructed...
Physics of horizons. Right, so you're saying the horizon's physical. Physics. No, it isn't. It can be described with optics, because that's what you're doing when you look at things. But I'm not making a claim about the horizon in this regard, and I certainly am not claiming it's physical.
Now, the physics of orbits actually...
Orbits of physics? No, it's a begging the question fallacy to assume that items fall around sphere shapes. That is to say that you assume Earth's a sphere and objects fall around it. There's no physics for orbits. It's a pure assumption. It's a begging the question fallacy.
Things going around.
Yeah, that's the begging the question bit. Yeah. Physics of orbits is you assuming things fall around. Yeah, exactly. That's not physics, that's assumption.
Earth is all constructed with three-dimensional spherical world.
Yeah. Constructed. You didn't make a damn thing. The model that you assume describes the world you're experiencing has been built upon assumptions of spheres. Yeah, exactly. Begging the question. There's no physics involved. Physics deals with the physical. If you're talking about science, that's physics. Now, physics, with natural science, the umbrella of which is the physical and natural world that we are definitely dealing with here on Flat Earth Debate, then you're talking about cause and effect reasoning based on suppositional, hypothesis-based experimentation. That's physics. In this genre, that's what physics would mean. Go ahead, whoever that is.
I was going to say, can things fall below surface level?
No, in their geometry and maths it does. When he says things are falling over a physical geometric horizon and the physics thereof, he's asserting that things fall over a horizon that is below surface level in their geometry, John.
it's silly.
You gotta give them credit as to how beautiful of an okie doke it really is. How they juxtapose something physical and then just an optical phenomenon. The way they just hand it over, it's like that analogy you use of the suitcase. It's a beautiful okie doke, which is why it's on top of teaching us this crap when we're kids, is why it works so well.
Almost 100 people watching. Woohoo! Please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. As John just described, in the Begging the Question, Proof of Nothing, Perspective Hijacking Earth Curve Calculator, here is surface level. And here is the physical, claimed to be geometric hill edge at 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, marked with an X and labelled horizon below surface level. So his assertion is boats fall over a hill below surface level. That is his assertion, and yes, indeed, John, it is very stupid.
And the pictures from space show our world as a globe. And yet somehow, there are some people that still seem to believe that the Earth is flat.
That's really all you've got to base your assertions on. Because after we debunk your physical geometric sphere edge for boats to fall over, the edge for the boats that you claimed they fall over, yeah, we debunked that edge below surface level quite some time ago. Nevertheless, the only further to that claim that's been debunked that you have is pictures from space, which any reasonable person would say, well, if you're going to assert that Earth's sphere-shaped, showing it as a sphere shape is a pretty cast-iron way of proving that. And I would agree. Were it not for the fact that the place the pictures are claimed to be taken from is not something that you frequent. It is a second law of thermodynamics violation vacuum that the gas pressure we are all breathing would disperse into, in line with entropic law, if it were real. It isn't. Ergo, you can't have pictures taken from a second law of thermodynamics violation sky vacuum to prove Earth's a sphere. They're all fake, automatically. Go ahead, Chocolate.
I was just going to say he might want to go ask NASA about that, because even NASA puts out that they don't put out pictures. They put out images and composites and artist illustrations. Supposedly they've got only one photograph or two photographs. Well, if what they were doing was real, they'd have a lot more than that. What did you think?
So as human beings, we love stories because stories...
Embedded confession. Yeah, stories about worlds that are sphere-shaped, the models that have come from flat Earth elevation angle measurements, the stories about them. Yeah, that's an embedded confession if ever I've heard one. Yeah, we love stories. Here we deal with physics. You've just appealed to it, and now you're telling us how much we love stories. Oh, don't get me wrong, I know he's going to project this onto flat earthers immediately.
Stories make sense of our lives, of our world. They endow it with meaning, and they can be understandable.
Meanwhile, we talk about geometry. That's Earth measurement. We talk about navigation. That's travelling on Earth, on the surface of Earth. Yeah, that's what we talk about. And we talk about it because that's what we're dealing with when we cover the subject of flat Earth.
Science is a way of
No, it's not. It's not constructing anything before he goes on to tell us what it constructs. Science is a method of establishing cause and effect by way of systematic experimentation based on a hypothesis to form theory. That's what science is.
constructing what we hope is...
No, it's got a sod all to do with hope and everything to do with an empirical method that gives you cause and effect reasoning if you perform the method. It's based on hypothesis that has an independent variable. That's your suppositional causal statement in the terms of something that you can physically vary and manipulate to see if it causes an effect you observed in nature. That would be your dependent variable. What I've just described is an alternate hypothesis. That would be if A, independent variable, then B, dependent variable. If confirmed, you have a validated alternative hypothesis, otherwise known as proof of the cause of an effect you observed excuse me, in nature. That's what you need if you've got science. It also has a null in the hypothesis, which is to say the antithesis of your prediction. If your suppositional value is varied, it won't cause the effect. Now, if you vary your suppositional value and it doesn't cause the effect, you have validated, that is to say, proven the null hypothesis. Hence, no matter what you do, if you perform the method, you have empiricism attached to it. It's not stories. It's empirical methodology to establish cause. This guy is a bullshitter, and he's about to tell you what science isn't. Now, if you look up, ladies and gentlemen of the audience, pseudoscience in any dictionary, do it now. Go to Google and type in the word pseudoscience, and it will tell you quite explicitly that pseudoscience is a claim of science that has not adhered to the scientific method. That's what this guy's about to detail, because he's told you it's science, and now he's launching into stories that won't have anything to do with cause and effect reasoning based on a hypothesis to be validated by way of systematic experimentation to form a theory. He's not talking about that. This is pseudoscience.
This is a true story, something that is demonstrably true.
What if you say it with a intonation that it's demonstrably, that means to demonstrate. Now, in scientific vernacular, demonstration is experimentation. To demonstrate that you vary A and it causes B is to experiment. Yeah? You've used the word like it's something demonstrable in terms of a story. You've not detailed independent variables, you've not detailed controls, you've not detailed experimentation or hypothesis construction, you've not detailed the observation of phenomena that is required to start this process. You've talked about stories, you're a bullshitter. This is Inside Tech. He's got 3.9 million subscribers and is undoubtedly classified as preferred content by YouTube. This bullshitter.
What?
Nathan, what's...
Hold on.
Okay, go on, John.
I'm going to say that goes to my point earlier about true and false statements. He's not wanting to disagree with a true statement because it's not agree, disagree. He just doesn't understand how they're constructed.
His vocation is an astronomer. Do we not have a housekeeping question aimed at astronomy?
Yes, we do. Any single viable hypothesis as part of the scientific method from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics.
So this guy, all he has after he sees the phenomena of a star is stories, because he can't go into the scientific method to have an empirical result. So
Correct.
He's the one saying stories, but he's the one with the stories.
Yes. What he's actually doing is greasing the skids for his stories by telling you that stories are science. And if he puts enough intonation on the word demonstrable, he thinks that that means that he can demonstrate his phenomena, light in the sky. Yeah? Okay. Therefore gravity, therefore black holes, therefore Big Bang. Those are all stories. But what you can show demonstrably that you can see a light in the sky. Wow. That's what he's calling science. Observe and declare. So he's going to say that science or experimentation is looking at things. That's what he's going to do. Let him know. So here's his link. Please let him know Nathan Oakley 1980 sent you. You know, hopefully YouTube will pay attention to the fact that I'm calling them out. This guy, with the number of subscribers he's got, is obviously considered preferred content when he talks about, as an astronomer, and what flat earth theory is. Number one, he doesn't know what theory is, and he's lying to his audience about what science is. Just bullshitting them. But YouTube will promote this. Now, me pointing out, fact, science has advanced humanity through systematic experimentation based on a hypothesis, and he's just lied to you about what that is. I've got you to go and look up pseudoscience by definition as not adhering to that method that I've detailed quite concisely. He's just lying to you. But this is what YouTube will give you. Yeah? This is the video that will get millions and millions of views and you will be directed to it. In the same way you'll be directed to Neil deGrasse Tyson as preferred content. Why? Well, they're all bullshitters. So YouTube just promote bullshitters, and they censor anybody who tells you what actual science is. That's us. We get shoved to the bottom of the lists. So let them know Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me, because we can't get promoted within the algorithm. We don't get supported by YouTube. Far from it. The bullshitting, lying bastards that tell you that science is stories about what they see through a telescope, they will get millions of views and be considered preferred content. We will get a tramp stamp and told that we're liars. That's what happens in this world. Yeah? Well, meanwhile, science has actually advanced humanity if you follow the method of empiricism that I detailed. He, on the other hand, will not give you any of that. He'll just give you the stories he justified as being demonstrable. No, they're not. The stories that you attach to your observations are in no way demonstrable and can no way go through the method. They are, by definition, pseudoscience.
Through experiment. But as we see.
Notice he didn't define what an experiment was. An experiment is the actualization of a hypothesis, and a hypothesis establishes a suppositional value of cause against a phenomena that you observed in nature so that it can be varied in an experiment to see if it causes the effect. Variation of suppositional cause to see if it causes effect is an experiment. He hasn't detailed that.
Throughout the ages, the prevailing scientific theories of the day.
So straight from experiment, which he didn't detail, to theories. This theory comes after you validate a suppositional cause and effect relationship through experiment. Then you form a theory. He will offer you a story and call it a theory. Give him a bazillion views, YouTube. Make him preferred content.
Can be overturned as we move.
No, you can't. So if you've got a theory, it's going to be based on an empirical outcome. But his just so stories about distances to planets and stars, about orbital motion that will change and go from circular to elliptical, purely based on the church's desire to know when Easter is, those just so stories can be overturned at will. And because he's in a position to overturn them with a new just so story, he's going to tell you all about how science can be overturned, when I, the person being censored, will tell you that there's an empirical method that has advanced humanity. Science advances humanity. Your technology comes from the empirical outcomes of science.
Move to more precise understanding.
No, you don't get more precise than empirical, my friend. If you follow the method, you've got an empirical outcome to form your theory with. They don't get overturned, because it would be to say that something is validated as causing an effect suddenly doesn't cause it anymore, which is absurd, because that would validate your null and alternative, which violates the law of non-contradiction in the scientific method. That's what offers its empiricism. But according to you, they can be overturned because all you've got is stories. It's a bloody outrage.
Of the universe around us.
Go ahead, Chocolate.
Sorry, I was just going to say, but you're going to have to kind of give him a pass, right? Because the guy that we listened to last time, what was his name? Johnny? What was it that he said? All the knowledge that we have is based on things we haven't seen. So, I mean, they're on the same side. So what other choice does this guy have but to tell us stories about empirical data that he doesn't have? Because the other guy says we don't even have knowledge. We don't even see the things that we're talking about.
And generally speaking, those become more complicated. So there is
No, there's nothing in an empirical outcome that can become more complicated. A causes B if you validate it. It's really simple.
Tendency for people to reject that reality, the science of the day.
Embedded in the method of science, you reject the alternative if you validate the null, and you reject the null if you validate the alternative. That is the only point of rejection in the scientific method, and the rejection of a null means you have validated your alternative. A rejection of an alternative means you validated your null. In both instances, you have an empirical outcome that there is no arguing with. There's no debate, there's no discussion, there's no consensus. There is only the empiricism of the outcome. It won't be overturned. It won't become more complicated. This man is a bullshitter, stealing valor from an empirical method, that's science, by asserting his just so stories after observation. That is all that is occurring here. As I say, this is what you get as preferred content on this platform. This is bolstered as being the preferred content. So the only way we get promotion here, telling the truth about what science is and isn't, look up pseudoscience as a definition and see if it comports to this man's non-adherence to the scientific method, making his claims pseudoscience. Me, I'm detailing what science really is, and it does advance humanity, so go and tell this guy Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. And hopefully he'll return the favour should he ever make a response. Go ahead, Tent.
Yeah, he just said people like us reject the science of the day. When have we ever rejected true science?
You can't reject true science because true science is an empirical method where if you reject it, you are violating the law of non-contradiction. If you have an empirical outcome to a scientifically performed experiment, that is to say it adhered to a methodology that had an empirical outcome, which would mean that it had a hypothesis constructed before it would take place, then you can only accept the outcome. Because A, the thing you think varied will cause the outcome you've observed in nature, the phenomena you were studying. If you vary it and it causes it, then it automatically cannot comport with the null hypothesis. Because in the null hypothesis, A doesn't cause B. It doesn't cause the phenomena. So if you vary A and it does cause the phenomena, it can't both cause the phenomena and simultaneously not cause the phenomena. That is the only outcome you can have from science. But these bullshitters need their just so stories to have some reasonable justification for being changed when they're shown to be completely non-comporting with reality. So our science gets more complicated. Yeah, that's what he's going to tell you. He's just a bullshitter.
And just fall back on.
Sorry, go on, Chocolate.
Yeah, I was going to say, if he wants to talk about change, well, we talk about a change that if you would like, when we got into this, what were we told? Science proves the globe. Okay, fast forward to 2023, what are we told now? Science doesn't prove anything. Coming from the same people that did tell us that it used to prove a globe. So how's that for a change, buddy?
Yeah, we get told that it's fluid, that it changes, that it gets more complicated. All lies.
On comfortable myths, things that make them feel at home, things that make them...
Yeah, like the globe. The globe's an uncomfortable myth that makes people feel comfortable. This is pure projection.
Much happier that they know what's going on.
People feel happier when they think you have told them that they know what they know because of what you have done in science. That makes people feel comfortable. Even though you've not performed the method, you have just provided them stories and you've made that clear. That makes people feel happier. Doesn't prove the world is a sphere.
I've got to tell you, at this point, with the low background music and his tone, I feel like he's a psychologist more than an astronomer.
Preferred content.
Are you sitting on the couch right now, Tim?
I am on the couch and I'm reclined. I'm about to fall asleep.
That's exactly what I'm thinking.
Maybe this obsession with flat Earth, the flat Earth is one of those. Or maybe they're just people...
But immediately he's turned it from flat, an aspect, and Earth, the ground we're standing on, to some sort of perception, hasn't he? He's halfway to anthropomorphizing it like the other guy did.
They're just contrarian.
So we're just contrarian when we describe how you acquire an elevation angle measurement from a flat baseline. That's being contrarian. What are we contradicting exactly? I don't see how describing how Earth is measured and navigated is in any way contrarian. It isn't. Quick shout out to AI Jungi. Hopefully I've said that right. Who says geometric horizon is an anagram for homoerotic zinger. Is that true? I bet it isn't. I'm not even going to bother checking. But very funny. I'm going to read that again. Geometric horizon is an anagram for homoerotic zinger. Well, what do you know? You learn something new every day. Thank you very much indeed, AI Junkie, for the super chat. Hey, QE. Hey.
I don't know. It's one of those things that I find so difficult to get my head around.
Maybe just look at geometry, Earth measurement. Maybe just look at how you acquire elevation angle measurements to Polaris to give you the grid system that the globe came from. Then you could wrap your head around it. You'd think you'd know this stuff as an astronomer. Go on.
Or maybe pay attention to your senses, because you're talking about being contrarian. Your senses aren't contrarian to anything about where we live, right? But you think that we live on a ball that's spinning around with water sticking to it. That's absolutely contrarian to our reality and our senses. So you might want to make a better use of your senses, buddy, instead of letting people in the textbook tell you how to use them.
I mean, I really do. My own pet theory is that they're just doing it.
So here we go. Your pet theory. So a moment ago he was talking about theory. So obviously these two things mean the same thing because he hasn't defined the word. So we can only assume that they're the same exact word because they are. But in this instance, he's going to give you his colloquial theory because in both contexts, there's no science for either. So when he gives you his, quote, pet theory, it's his best guess of the psychology of why people think the Earth is flat, when here on Flat Earth Debate we discuss how it's measured and how it's navigated and how the globe model was made using a flat Earth. That's what we talk about. But we're going to get this guy's pet theory.
It for comic effect, just to see how far they can push it.
Really? You think
wow, projection much?
How far you can push what? Your just so stories about the stars in the sky without basing them on systematic experimentation that has come from a hypothesis after observing those lights in the sky as a phenomena? No, you don't follow the scientific method. I'm not here for comedic effect. Now, while it's easy for you to just hand-wave our entire existence as just being here for comedic effect, when we're detailing how the globe was made using flat Earth elevation angle measurements to give you the grids on all of these different maps and models. They've all come from the same origin, which is a flat plane. It doesn't matter which one you throw up. It doesn't matter if you're using an azimuthal equidistant projection to say that... Go ahead.
I was just going to say I've used their mathematics to turn my kitchen into a sphere, if they need any help in knowing how it works.
Can you plug the video for how you did that with the puppets?
Yeah, I'll go find it.
Perfect. So there is actually a video. John's not exactly a videographer, no offence, but he has actually gone out of his way to point this out in a video that's been dumbed down to the point where a child could understand it. How you can convert a flat plane to a sphere. Now, in terms of the grid system that's actually used in GPS and in maps and in navigation, that's all come from a flat plane. It ends up being used as a flat plane. It's a, is it Euclidean? I keep wanting to say Euclidean. It's not. It's Cartesian. I have to start getting that
Cartesian.
correct. My bad. I always say Euclidean and I'm just getting my terminologies incorrect. It's a Cartesian grid system that has been derived from flat Earth elevation angle measurements. That's how your globe came to be. Is that amusing to you? Does that make you laugh? Because the origins of your globe belief are flat, my friend. I don't find that stuff amusing.
Nathan, you're pushing it too far. You're just seeing how far you can push it. And this is just too far, man. You can't remind Globers that their entire model is based off a flat plane. That's just too far, man.
Imagine for a moment that, the Earth was flat.
Imagine it. I can measure it and navigate it that way, as do all of the people who get on planes daily. They have a sextant as a backup. Why? Well, so they can measure the Earth flat in case they get lost. What about all these lines around the azimuthal equidistant projection that's been taken from a globe, that was taken from a grid that was developed from flat Earth elevation angle measurements starting at Polaris? That's how this grid came to be. Well, that's a flat Earth grid that you've wrapped around your globe. But you want us to now imagine the globe projection squashed out flat with the grid that came from a flat Earth in the first place to imagine a flat Earth. No, that's just because the low-cast flat earthers take a globe projection, azimuthal equidistant in this example, North Pole centric, and say that it's the world we live on. Now, other flat earthers that obviously aren't us do reify globe projections into their world, but we don't do that. We understand how this model came to be made, but it doesn't make it our world. Go ahead, 10th.
Yeah, if you go to Master D, you can post a picture of the Alt-Az coordinate system, the horizontal coordinate system that the sextant uses. It's the X, Y, and Z Cartesian, as you can see.
Yeah, I've got that up now. Do you want to just talk us through it? You have already in introduction.
Yeah, so if you're using a sextant, you're going to spot the luminary above the horizon. That's an elevation angle up from the horizon, all right? So angle measured up from the horizon, and then the zenith angle is measured from the vertical. As you can see there's two verticals. There's a vertical of the star, or sun in this case, and at C, when the only reference point you have, because you don't have any land masses or lighthouses. All you have is a lighthouse in the sky, stars, sun, or moon. So you bring that down and up from the horizon. As you waggle that section, you rock it to get the perpendicular relationship, which is the zenith, the 90 degree of that sun over the Earth. Then that gives you a right angle triangle. And whatever that degree is, now you can subtract from 90 to establish your zenith. As you can see there where the observer says up, that's the co-altitude. That is the zenith distance that matches the baseline, as well as the top area. If you put a line there, that'd be a box. So that is your zenith distance in nautical miles. Because in the sea, you're rocking in the boat, you don't know your zenith, so you establish the sun zenith first. So that's a 90-degree box for the sun, and you have a 90-degree box. You can't have 90 degrees on a curved surface.
Perfect. Thank you.
Well, how much thickness does it then have? These are the kind of questions you'd...
What? How much thickness? What? These are the kind of questions that you ask about a flat plane when you've reified a pizza pie into a sky vacuum. Why is it suddenly that we've got a sky vacuum around this pizza pie, and your question is how thick it is? My question would be, how would people breathe on this pizza pie? I mean, obviously, if there's high-pressure gas, which we know is definitely there, how would it exist if this is 10 to the minus 17 Torr vacuum, the black area that you think space is? I mean, you've superimposed all of your heliocentric beliefs onto this pizza pie that none of us claim here.
You'd have to ask. Okay, you've got an edge. Well, would things...
We've got an edge? What? Sorry, is it just me? Or 2 minutes 54, if somebody can remember that. He's just said we've got an edge, and yet at the beginning of his video, he was talking about boats falling over edges. He even put up pictures of horizons with boats in them and talked about boats falling over the edge of a sphere Earth below surface level. We pointed out that that edge that he thought boats fell over was below surface level when he talked about them going over the horizon, a physical geometric limitation at 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height of feet in the begging the question proof of nothing perspective hijacking Earth curve calculator. He made the assertion that boats fall over an edge, but now when he's got a reified pizza pie in a sky vacuum, he's telling us that boats will fall over a flat Earth edge. I don't know if anybody's making this assertion, my friend, but it's definitely part of your globe Earth mathematics to have boats falling over an edge.
Edge. Well, would things fall?
Yeah, go ahead, John.
I posted that in Astronomy.
What did you post?
The video you asked for.
Right. To the audience, in the meantime, share the show. You got 15 more minutes to force Nathan to live stream longer. So hurry it up already.
That's the video that he turned his kitchen floor into a sphere.
Why, so we could the show.
Yeah, I'm just queuing it up, guys. So yeah, okay. So this video, which is on screen now, this is from Refracted Curvature's channel. So you can probably see I've already given it a thumbs up. So I'm going to put a link to this video in the live stream chat now. So just go and check it out, because it's very worthwhile, even if you take the grain of salt that is the dumbing down in a humorous, childish way. The information is absolutely solid in this video. And it explains how you can take a flat Earth and turn it into a sphere. It's essentially talking you through the Haversine conversion, is it not, John?
Well, the Haversine hasn't been done yet to create the model. This is just creating a celestial sphere out of my kitchen.
Okay, gotcha. Should we have a listen to it or not? No, maybe I'll leave the audience to actually go and watch it, because then it'll encourage people to actually watch it, rather than me just playing it out here. It's a year old, man. It seems like yesterday he made this video. Okay, so go and check it out. Just like I say, I've put a link to it in the live stream chat. So if you can, just go and smash it a like, leave a comment on John's video. That would be helping. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'm sure in future, when he puts out videos like this one, it'll be important enough for him to take his time to make it. Like anybody who's a non-videographer, it's got to have some significance to be actually going through the effort of making it. in the first place. Okay, so that's John's video. Go and check it out. As I say, I put a link in the live stream chat. Oops, wrong button. I'm going to have to move these buttons back to where my muscle memory says they are. Okay, so that will do for John's video. But we'll go back to this guy's videos. It's only got a couple of minutes left.
Well, how do you generate gravity to make the things fall? What is it that actually causes?
Well, how do you generate gravity and make the things fall? What about gas? What about helium balloons? As you're looking up, do you think there might be some clouds in that direction? Clown? Do you think there's clouds in the direction you're looking right now? Or are they falling with gravity that you've generated when gravity isn't a force? The bending of a, write this down, pseudo-force-space dimension invented by Einstein. Now, when you bend pseudo-force-space as a result of a description in mathematics of the uneven distribution of mass, it's not a force. And not everything falls. I've got news for you, buddy. That was outdated 108 years ago. 108 years, and you think things fall? What about things going up? Releases helium balloon. Watches a helium balloon satellite float by in the sky. Is that not falling at 9.8 meters per second as it traverses the clouds and all the gas? Do you think that we're moving around in puddles of gas? Or does the gas come out of the ground and go up? I'm pretty sure your outdated 108-year out-of-date nonsense about gravity is going to be very embarrassing when a highly censored flat earther, definitely not preferred content, points out that not all things go down.
Using the gravity to make things fall off the end.
Sorry, make things fall. Releases helium balloon, looks up at clouds. Gases aren't going down, go boom boom, 9.8 meters per second squared. Hello? Do you not experience clouds in your world?
A flat surface is fairly unstable to the other forces. It would be...
What forces? Gravity is not a force. End quote, George Musa, Scientific American. What about Professor Brian Cox? There isn't really...
Chocolate.
Oh my God.
Chocolate gets it. Chocolate saying.
How is the flat surface unstable? What?
Wait a minute. What anybody that builds any type of structure or building, what do they do to the foundation of that building
Level.
before
Level
they
it.
do? Oh,
They level it.
so my man just said a flat surface is unstable. But
Well,
spinning around on the outside of a ball, that's cool.
He's saying it's unstable because of the other forces that are present. So when he presupposes that a non-force of gravity is pulling him down because everything goes down, you know, he's looking up at the clouds thinking everything goes down, therefore there's a force that isn't making everything go down, and that would make a flat earth in his imagination land of a pizza pie with a thickness in a sky vacuum unstable. That's what he's saying.
Yeah, what I got from him is he's got the pizza pie, how thick it is, and gravity would make the water fall off the end of this pizza pie. Meanwhile, back in his little daydream, it's sticking to a ball.
With boats falling over the edge of it. You know, it's pure projection. He's got boats falling over his edge and everything falling down. It's just nuts.
Flexible and moved around. It's hard to even begin, actually, to talk about what a flat Earth would be like.
See? Well, why don't you go out and see how Earth's measured? Or how we build buildings on Earth? Or how we navigate Earth? Or how we made the globe model from a flat Earth? Maybe if you looked at any of those things, you wouldn't have to use your imagination to comprehend this. Very simple, on the cover of the book description of what the world would be. Flat, that's an aspect, and Earth, the ground you're standing on. But you've gone straight to the psychology and struggling to imagine it. Go to geometry. Go to Earth measurements. Go to basic principles.
Go outside much?
Yeah, don't need your imagination. What are you doing? You know, what you need to do is figure out how to measure Earth. But you're not doing that, are you? You find it difficult to comprehend because you immediately superimpose your heliocentric biases onto a pizza pie in a sky vacuum in violation of the second law of thermodynamics. Exactly the same as your globe is in violation of the second law of thermodynamics when you put it into a sky vacuum with gas pressure not being contained, not dispersing with entropic forces. Yeah, those laws of nature that govern how gas will expand. Yeah, your pizza pie in a vacuum violated that just as much as your globe does. Yeah, but you can't imagine how the forces that you can't experience because they're not pulling everything down would work on an unstable pizza pie floating through space. None of it is in any way reconcilable with the actual flat, that's an aspect, Earth that we're standing on, because you haven't thought about that. It's beyond your comprehension, like we discussed in the pre-show. We're talking about why people can't comprehend it. Well, he's a poster child for it, like all of them are. Yeah, he's got to figure out how to imagine it so he can figure out ways of how his imagination of it wouldn't work.
As advanced heliocentrists that we are, he doesn't realize that his terrestrial map, which is the horizontal coordinate system, the section, uses the center of Earth, the plane, as where the vertex is. Then if you want to use the stars, he has to move to the right ascension declination, the EQ Mount telescope. And now that extension of the Earth equatorial plane is extended all the way to the celestial sphere. And the whole universe is flat to match the equinoctial, the equatorial plane. It's just one big disk. And none of the stars below that are able to be seen, only above that plane. So whether you're using the sky map method or the Earth method, you have to do it off of a plane. That's advanced heliocentrism. He doesn't even know his own model.
Because it's just so impossible.
Because it's measured and navigated and the models have come from it being flat, but therefore it's impossible. What a useless rubbish explanation. Go on, John.
QE, right?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. Point of order, Your Honor, with Kent, as we are advanced heliocentrists. No, I'm not French. You are an advanced heliocentrist, not we.
Say, well, I'm not French.
Okay, well,
sorry.
if I know.
Just 1 second. Did you not hear him say as an advanced heliocentrist?
Yes.
What does as mean?
It's a simile.
So does that mean he is an advanced heliocentrist, or as an advanced heliocentrist, he would then describe, as he did, an aspect of advanced heliocentrism?
Yeah, in the context, though, it wasn't used rhetorically. So as we are advanced heliocentrists, as he said, so
Well,
he 10th is an advanced heliocentrist, not we. This one.
Fine. If I know their model better than them, then I accept that.
All right, fair enough. We can move on.
So you're telling me you're a heliocentrist, 10th? Get out.
I know the model. I know their model, but I don't have a model.
Neither do they, so we're doing great.
Here's your cue, QE, to ask what model. You always love asking that questions, right?
I wanted to get it out. I didn't want to be rude.
No, it's a perfectly reasonable objection. Every time I utter it, to make it clear, I use a bit of proximity effect, get up to the mic and go, this is never going to happen. We're flat earthers. You know, I make it clear that it's a metaphorical example. But I kind of want to almost to annoy them into concession. Say, oh, I'm on your side. I just understand it better. You know the line, the most irritating line. I was like you once. Then I advanced. Yeah. You can lay that on them if you go into the tone of advanced heliocentrist.
I just need a better phrase.
Well, I could say down to earth, but I'd have to say geocentric. So I'm a down to earth heliocentric. How's that?
Yeah, it's not going to work. You're going to have to come up with something else.
I would like to ask you a question about the model. If I use a transformative equation to change a flat Earth map, call that a model?
I didn't hear him.
You can call it a model, yeah. What's your point, John? Hold on, Chocolate. What's your point?
Well, if I use a transformative equation on the celestial sphere and then claim a model, is that therefore a model?
No.
Why not? Why not?
No, define scientific model.
No. He didn't say scientific, did he?
Well, that's the context that we're in. What's next? Is he gonna post up a runway model? We good with that?
Well, if he uses a transformative equation for the blueprint/runway model to convert it to a sphere, would that not be reasonable to still suggest it's a spherical runway model?
Chocolate said yes. No, it's not a model. It's out of context. So we got to stick with the context. It must be a scientific model if we're talking about it in here today. Is he an astronomer?
Yes.
You'd never know it by listening to him.
I would agree.
We all know that they haven't presented the all-encompassing, absolutely beautiful working globe model, right? So when we say globe model, what we mean is what they have in their heads and what they present as a globe model. It's not actually a model.
Nathan, do you doth protest
About what?
about this model?
I couldn't give a
nonsense?
crap. I was just trying to keep the conversation going. Meanwhile, hopefully you will let us know in the comment section what a happy, supportable, acceptable fundraising platform will be. So if you're one of those people that said, please don't use GoFundMe again, and I am so sorry that I ignored you, and I should have taken your advice or listened, but we still need to go forward to actually set up a new campaign for chocolate, as mentioned at the beginning of the show. So I do actually want people to leave in the comments or in the live stream chat what they know to be a good fundraising platform to set up that campaign for chocolate, which will hopefully be done in the next few hours once we know what platform we're actually going to use, and then it'll hopefully for the first time actually get shouted out with a link being promoted to the audience on QE's show. So as we're live now and there is a Quantum Eraser show tonight, QE, can you plug that?
Say that one more time.
Plug your show.
Oh yeah, Quantum Eraser. Be careful of the time today for our friends over and across the pond, because I think it's 1 p.m. U.S. Central, 5 p.m. UK, if I'm not mistaken.
6.
Is it 6?
Usually 7. It will be 6 because you're ahead of us now.
There's something strange. 1 second. Go on.
They don't
Continue.
change their clocks till the end of March.
I understand that. Hold on a second. 1 p.m. U.S. Central, U.S.
Oh man, this is just like from the playbook of giving a good plug for your channel, man. The energy's there.
Hey, it's given me 5. I just typed this in. 1 p.m. Tuesday Central U.S. is 5 p.m. in London.
That sounds wrong. Sounds like it's off by an hour because you usually go live at 7 and it's an hour sooner, right?
Yes.
Right. So I'm going to say it's 6, but it's
Okay.
not. That won't be the first time these things are wrong.
Okay. All right. So let's do a proper plug. So today, 1 p.m. U.S. Central, 6 p.m. UK time, Quantum Eraser. We're going to have an open panel, and I need that link for the fundraising for chocolate.
Indeed, we can find out. We'll establish hopefully in the comment section, or if people will let us know via the live stream chat that's running now. How many people we got watching? 112 people watching. It's probably going to be the end of the live show in a couple of minutes. But yeah, it'd be good if you could just let us know in the comment section what is an acceptable fundraising platform, so we're not politically pissing anybody off with the one that we pick. So yeah, plus we want it to be successful. So yeah, that's a good reason to let us know one that you would actually support. So, you know, if you let us know, just say, I would support this particular platform. Although it shouldn't be about the bloody platform,
I can give
really.
one recommendation that
Go
I
on.
heard is pretty decent. I think it's called Give, Send, Go. I think that one actually, when I heard about the nonsense with GoFundMe, that's the alternative that I heard that's pretty good. Give, Send, Go. But I don't know. I've never used anything like this, so I don't know.
No, okay, that sounds good. I mean, that's another suggestion. There was the other one, I can't remember. Donate Me or something, the one I suggested earlier. There's a couple that have been put out there, so you know, hopefully there's enough for people to give us a suggestion at the very least. Cool. Okay, with that, I'm going to say if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Programming Streams, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, though, if you are watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. So another massive thank you to all of you who smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, joined as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, and all that good stuff. Once again, stay tuned if you're watching on an after show. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.
What a lovely day!